Hi everyone, this is Banu Hantal, the leadership psychologist, and today I'm with Mark Josephson, CEO of Bitly. Thank you for being here. It was an awesome talk.
Thanks so
that
much.
you
My pleasure.
gave. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile
Okay.
and I noticed you have a bachelor's degree in psychology.
I do.
And I read that your dad was a clinical psychologist.
Yes, and my mother too. And
Your
my,
mother too.
And my brother and my sister-in-law.
So you're coming from a family of psychologists.
I am.
So having that background and growing kind of with that kind of knowledge base, do you think it influenced the type of leader you became today?
It absolutely, fundamentally changed or drove who I am today. I know for a fact, from experience and from life, that every single person is fucked up. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on your.
Yeah, yes,
right?
yes, you definitely.
I know
do that too.
that you've got issues that you're working on, right?
That's why I became a
That's
psychologist
exactly right.
myself.
Yeah, because you have to go through all that
Exactly.
stuff. And I do
Yeah.
too. And I know that everybody does. I grew up with, that was our family business. And I grew up in a small town in a small state where everybody knew everybody. And everybody went and saw my parents when their marriages were in trouble, when their kids weren't behaving or performing well in school, or they were going through their own issues in life. I knew. And so I just assumed that everybody's working on something. And so it doesn't freak me out when I see people with working through things. So it absolutely, in fact, I look for what it is they're working on because I know that there's something.
Francisco, I don't know if you see this similar trend in New York, but here people finally started taking psychology not in terms of fixing problems, but in terms of using it as a tool to achieve greatness.
Sure.
And breaking the average. And we have a lot of ambitious people here, as you would know.
I remember working with my dad a long time ago when he got the first biofeedback machines. And he was using biofeedback in his practice to teach people to relax. Now you have Headspace, which is one of the best apps.
I do use it with my clients. I do HRV trainings with my clients too.
It works. It physically works. What you're thinking about changes how your body behaves and performs, and they're inextricably tied.
Do you use it?
I do.
Yeah. What type of biofeedback?
Well, I don't use biofeedback, but I try to meditate. My parents meditated twice a day for 40, 50 years.
What type of meditation are you practicing?
I'm doing a version from the book, The Relaxation Response, which is one of the early books. It's super easy read, so it's just basic relaxation tools and systems.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about the executive relationships or co-founder relationships that I work a lot on. I feel like it's kind of the model relationship for the rest of the company. I think it's becoming a role models and how to relate and work with each other. On top of it, I think it has a lot of influence where the company is going. So in your past, did you have any instances where you felt like you messed it up with someone in your executive team and you're like, this was wrong? I mean, the one that you would like to share or something, and then what you learned from it and how you had to transform.
Sure, I mean, there's been so many. There have been so many times when I could have done a better job or handled it differently. But the one that pops to mind is somebody that I really have a tremendous amount of affection and admiration for, and we built something together, and then our relationship was too rooted in the personal than the professional, and that caused us not to communicate well together. And it ended, and not how I would have wanted it to end. And so I think that part of what you need to balance when you're an executive or a co-founder is having the real conversations. There were things I should have said and done that I didn't because I felt a certain way. And I know that he feels the same way. And so I wish I could go back and do that again.
Yeah. I actually see this all the time because a lot of the co-founders start the company because they know each other and they are friends. And I see a lot of avoidance and communication because they don't want to hurt the relationship. They don't want to hurt the person.
I got the feedback, I wish you would have told me this before. And I wish I had shared it before. It would have been a whole lot more meaningful and productive and healthy if I did.
And I think we have to figure out how to do it in the right way. I think a lot of people feel lost. Am I going to talk? If I talk, am I going to damage this relationship even further? Like the comfort comes from having the skills, I think, how to do it properly.
Yeah, but there's a thing that we're doing at a company that I'm really excited about, which is called Bitly Excellence. And I talked a little bit about it up here, but Bitly Excellence is something that we set up for every employee in the company with their manager, and it happens once a month. And they have to come prepared to answer 6 questions. Same 6 questions all the time.
Okay.
And the first question is, are you happy coming to work each day? Are there relationships inside the company you wish were better? Are you on track for your personal goals? Are you on track for your professional goals? Right? And I think that having those meaningful conversations, real conversations, start to drive some of that awareness and that success. And I'm thrilled that we do that because you can teach people how to have them, or you can force them to have them and teach them that way. And so
I love it.
It's awesome.
I love it. I'm a big believer in putting process and structure in place that the behavior shows up, because especially in a startup, everything is so fast paced, and there is like everything is like high priority at that time. These kind of things sometimes.
On my executive's dashboard, we have percentage of Bitly Excellence meetings held in a particular month or quarter.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're tracking that.
That's pretty great. Another thing you mentioned during your talk that made me think about is winning together. Because I sometimes feel I need to train my clients not to win too much, because there is something as winning too much when people like in co-founder teams or executive teams, it becomes a competitive play, like being the person who's right, whose idea is right, or winning the argument. And I have a lot of good debater clients, and it becomes more about winning the argument than actually winning together as a team. So what has been your experience about like winning as a person, as an individual, and winning as a team? What's the difference?
I've had to learn a lot, and a lot of it the hard way. The thing I'm working on now, one of the things I'm working on now is empowering versus directing. And I got feedback from my team in the 360 that sometimes when I drop into a conversation, the message I'm sending is that I don't trust them to do their jobs, which is not what I'm thinking, but that's what they're feeling. And so I spend a lot of time trying not to talk and trying to listen more in my job, as my job has changed as we've grown. So I think a lot about that. And I don't have to have the answer for it to be my success. And I get all the accolades if the company wins, and all the dings if we lose. It doesn't matter if I touch it or not. That's the nature of my job, and figuring that out. And for my executives as well, my team, they win when we win, right? They win when we win. So we do talk about that, and we try to make sure. We just added one new value to our list this year, which is nobody wins unless everybody wins, which is our sixth value, which is something that Bruce Springsteen used to say at the end of his concerts. You say, remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. And so that's actually one of our core values.
Yeah, and I say sometimes winning mindset is the losing mindset. Can turn into I love that. So what would you advise someone who's at the beginning of their journey, founders who just started? What would be some wisdom you would like to share?
Get a coach.
Get a coach.
Yeah. Get a coach. Have somebody that you can talk to about it. It's incredibly lonely. This is not a sob story. I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for any job in the world. But nobody asks the CEO or the founder to go to lunch, right? So you're the one that's sitting at your desk doing the work, and you've got lots of things that you're thinking about. And I found it really helpful in my career to have friends who were going through similar things, and coaches who could help me and just listen to the things I was thinking about and have a sounding board. I think it's amazing resource.
Thank you very much.